guys so that you'll see my image. And we're going to start sitting actually rather than lying down. So make your way over to your mat and we're going to sit. Now you could also start sitting in a chair if that would be better for you. Otherwise you can sit right on your mat, or if you want to elevate a little bit and sit on a pillow or a blanket, that might just help you to be more comfortable in a seated posture. And as you determine how you want to sit, what you want to sit on, once you're there, if it's comfortable to sit cross-legged, we're going to cross our legs. If you need to have one or both legs straight, that's fine. So however you're sitting, take a moment now to feel your sitting bones. You could rock a little bit or just kind of push down to rise up. So we're going to root the sitting bones down as a way to ground ourselves and invite the spine to be upright. And as you sit up nice and tall, just bring your awareness to the spine. There's that little inward curve in the low back, and then it kind of curves back a little bit where your ribs attach. And then there's a little inward curve where the back of the neck is. And then ideally the head is not pitched forward. The head, the ears stack right over the shoulders. And sometimes to get the ears back over the shoulders, we lift the chin. So place one finger on your chin and kind of press it a little bit down and then a little bit back and up. And that's just a nice gentle chin tuck, which has the potential to bring the ears over the shoulders without extending or compressing the neck. So we're sitting up nice and tall. And as you're sitting up nice and tall, take a breath in. And with your exhale, either soften your gaze down or go ahead and close your eyes and let your breath empty out. And we're just going to sit and breathe as we begin our practice this morning. Feeling the feeling of the breath moving into the lungs, the ribs, and expanding in all directions. And then noticing how it feels to allow the breath to empty and release out of you. We'll try to breathe in through the nose if that's available. And as you breathe out, you can breathe out through the nose or you can blow it out with your mouth a little open, whichever you prefer. But whatever allows you to release the breath fully. So enjoying the expansiveness of that breath moving forward, sides, back of the ribs and lungs. And then noticing how that feels when you let the breath empty all the way out. And perhaps you can even notice as you breathe in how the diaphragm lowers down and kind of pushes down into the organs. The belly might push forward a little bit. And as you release the breath, that diaphragm softens up and releases up into the space of the ribs. So maybe feeling that movement of the diaphragm down as you breathe in. Feeling maybe as though the breath were moving into the belly. And then that diaphragm softens and releases, and it really releases all the way if we let the breath empty all the way out. And in that moment of the diaphragm fully releasing, the nervous system relaxes. So doing this deep breathing as we begin our practice can kind of reset the nervous system to the calm setting. And life is different and challenging and difficult these days with this pandemic that goes on and on and on. So doing this practice of calming the body with the breath can be really, really helpful and beneficial. So just a few more rounds of breath in this manner. A nice expansive breath in, noticing how that feels. And that emptying of breath. Like a releasing and a letting go. One more breath. And at the end of your next exhale, you can return to a more natural breath rhythm. Take a moment here to just recognize if there's something that you might want to focus on in your practice this morning, something you might want to just invite in, some positive quality that might be nice to focus on for the next hour or maybe for this day. And maybe just breathe that in. Attach one word to that quality and breathe it in. Maybe infuse it into our practice this morning. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So let's grab onto our knees. We're going to root the sitting bones down and we're going to try to lengthen the spine and extend or arch the back a little bit. So you're going to think about lifting the sternum up. The chin can go up a little bit as you breathe in. And then as we exhale, we're going to round back. You can hold onto your knees, round back a little bit onto your tailbone, let your chin drop down. So it's like cat-cow. We're going to inhale and extend the spine, lifting the heart. And we're going to exhale and round the spine, dropping back, tucking the chin. So moving on at your own pace with your own breath rhythm, extending on the in-breath or arching, and then rounding or flexing on the exhale. And maybe just a couple more like that. Just waking up the spine here a little bit with breath and movement. This will be the last one of those flexion and extensions or cat-cows. And then the next time you press down to sit up nice and tall, think about your spine nice and long, and then just lean forward. So you're moving from your hip creases now. So rather than bending at all, the spine is long. We're going to lean forward and maybe reach your fingertips toward the floor. And can you keep the spine long here? Can you think about your neck being a continuation of your spine? And as you're hinging forward, you might feel something happening in the hips or in the low back. How does that feel? Just notice how this feels. Take a breath. Let it go. And as you let it go, you can round the back. So let the low back, the mid back, the upper back round. Let the head drop down. Let your breath empty out. And then draw your belly in and just roll yourself up. Root down and sit up tall. Great. All right, let's take the arms out wide. And see if you can expand from shoulder to shoulder, from fingertip to fingertip. And then let's reach the arms up. So palms facing now. Let's reach up and slide the ribs up, lift the shoulders up, breathe in. And then take your arms and bend your elbows. They can go straight out to the side and then take them a little bit behind your body and then hug your elbows in and down towards your waist. Kind of squeezing the shoulder blades in, sliding the shoulder blades down. So I'm kind of working the muscles in the upper back. Let's inhale and reach up again, lifting up. And we'll exhale, elbows wide and hugging in and back, behind and down. Waking up the muscles in the back of the shoulders and the upper back. One more time, reach up, breathe in, and exhale and hug in and back and down. Great. Then reach your arms out again. Let's take one arm and drop it down. Take the other arm and reach it up. So stretch up as you breathe in. And then the hand on the floor, bend that elbow and stretch over to the side. Maybe keep that sitting bone on that side down and breathe into that side waist. Exhale and look up under your arm. Inhale and look forward. Exhale and look down at the hand on the floor. Maybe stretch over a little bit more. Then inhale and reach up. And then bring that hand down. Take the other arm and reach it up. Stretch up nice and tall. And then maybe step the hand away, bend over. Bend that elbow of the hand on the floor. Keep this sitting bone down as the arm reaches over. Take a breath. Exhale and look up under that arm. Inhale and look forward. Exhale and look down at the floor, maybe leaning over a little bit more. And then inhale and reach up. Take both arms out again now. Big breath in as you sit up tall. And then we're going to start to twist. So see if you can initiate this movement from your trunk. Can you start to twist your ribs, your chest, your shoulders around in one direction? The arm that's behind, bring it down on the floor. The other arm, keep moving it across and then place it on the outside of that knee and maybe twist a little more and take a breath and let the breath go. And then begin to unwind back around to the front. Take your arms out again, sit up tall, breathe in. And then from the muscles of your trunk, twist the other way. The arms are just kind of following. And then the arm that's behind can come back and down on the floor. The arm that's in front can sweep a little further across. And then that hand can go to the outside of the knee, twisting maybe a little bit more and breathing in and out here. And then releasing back around. Great. Let's just change the cross of the knee. If you're sitting cross-legged, you always cross one leg in and then the other. So change the cross. So the leg that doesn't normally cross in first does. We're going to just twist again. So take the arms out, big breath. Start with the side that you just did. Twist around, use your core, your oblique muscles, your waist muscles to twist around. Take one hand behind, other arm comes across, place it on the outside of the knee and twist a little more. Breathe in and out. And then unwind, back to facing front, reach the arms out, big breath in, sitting up tall, and then twisting the other way. Use the muscles of the trunk to bring you around. Arm behind goes down on the floor, arm in front comes across to that opposite knee, twist a little more, breathe in and out. And then release back around. Great. All right, let's shake the legs out a little bit. And then we're going to come around to all fours. You can kneel on your blanket if you like, or you can just kneel on your mat, or you could be standing with your hands on the chair. Kneeling doesn't work great for your knees. Get nice and square. Spread out the weight on your hand, thumbs, knuckles, fingers. This series could be done down on your forearms if your wrists give you some challenge. Let's find length in the spine, looking down between the hands, and a little support in the belly, right? So engage the belly a little bit. So right now, you are in a neutral spinal position. We're going to lift a leg up, and when we do that, a lot of times the belly drops, the back arches. So that little support in the belly to keep the spine as it is. So take one leg and take the knee back behind you. This is where we tend to arch the back. So keep that belly support, don't arch the back. Can you get the knee straight back and the foot toward the ceiling? You can flex the foot. Actually, let's circle the ankle a few times in one direction and circle it the other way. All right, so foot to the ceiling, knees straight back, nice and long, knee to crown. And then we're going to take that knee out to the side. Can you get that knee at the height of the hip? And then let the knee drop down, but we're not going to put it back down. We're going to go back out to the side with that knee. And then see if we can get that knee straight back, foot to the ceiling, and then drop it down. But we're not going to rest it because we're going to do that again. Take the knee back, take the knee out to the side, height of the hip if you can, lower that knee down, and then the other way. Take the knee out to the side, take it back, heel to the ceiling, and bring that knee down. All right, plant that knee. Let's do the other leg. Support the low back, and then take the knee straight back. Let's circle at the ankle a few times in one direction and the other way. All right, so knee is straight back, foot to the ceiling. Take that knee out to the side. Can you get it the height of the hip? Lower the knee down. And then take it back out to the side. Take the knee behind you, foot to the ceiling, belly strong. Drop the knee down. Again, take the knee back, foot to the ceiling. Take it out to the side, height of the hip. Lower the knee down. Go the other way. Take it out to the side. Take the knee back, foot to the ceiling, and drop the knee down. All right, let's take child's pose. Sit back on your heels. Arms could be out in front or supporting your head. Let the back round and relax, and just focus on the breath. Focus on the feeling of your body, and what are you inviting in this morning? Take one more breath. And then next, inhale, lift your head up, reach your arms way out. Let's make our way up to downward facing dog. Taking the hips up and back, and let the head hang. The weight of the head hanging down off of your spine. Shake your head just a little bit, nice, easy, gentle, and just feel how heavy the head is and just let it dangle. We hold so much tension in the neck, and this is a lovely way to release that tension. Just let the head hang. All right, let's have our feet hip distance apart. Bend a knee and press a heel down, and then bend that knee and press the other heel down. Do that again. Just get a nice stretch in the lower part of the leg and the back of the heel and ankle. And then bend both your knees a bit. Take your hips way up and back. Breathe in and out. Let's walk our hands back towards our feet now, dropping the heels down, fold it over here. We're going to take a big breath into the upper back. As we exhale, let's extend the spine. So we might have our fingertips on the floor. We might bring our hands to our shins as we lengthen through the crown. We're going to inhale again into the upper back and exhale and extend the spine forward. One more time, we're going to inhale into the upper back as we fold over. And then as you exhale, draw your belly in and begin to roll yourself up. Just stack your spine slowly, gradually, incrementally. Feel one vertebra coming on top of the next. And the last thing we'll bring up will be our heads. And then once we're upright, let's go and stand with our back against a wall. So find a wall or a door or something you can stand against. And if we put our heels all the way against the wall, we don't really leave room for our bum. So your heels a little bit away from the wall, quite close, but maybe not right up against the wall. And then root down to stand up. And if we're here, for some of us, it might be very easy to get the back of the head against the wall. For some of us who have that pitched forward head position, it might be a little challenging to get our heads back up against the wall. And again, the tendency might be to lift the chin to get your head back up against the wall. So that same idea as before, maybe one finger on the base of your chin. Can you tuck the chin a little bit down and then a little bit back and up? And try and get the back of your head against the wall with your chin tucked. And maybe if you can't quite get your back of your head all the way against the wall, that's okay, but you're just kind of working in that direction. If you can get the back of your head against the wall without your chin being up in the air, gently press the back of your head against the wall. Now, some of us, to get our head back, we lift the chin. Some of us, to get our head back, we arch the back, right? The ribs go forward and we arch the back. So try to realign into a neutral posture. Think about knitting your ribs into your belly. So can you be here with your back of your head against the wall, but you're not arching your back? You might think about sliding your tailbone down toward your heels or knitting your ribs into your belly. And then chin tuck back of the head on the wall. I know it's a lot of instruction, but we're just trying to realign the spine, lengthening these muscles in the back of the neck at the base of the skull, and then maybe strengthening them a little bit by pressing the back of the head into the wall. Let's take the arms out now. And I want you to take a breath in here. And then with the exhale, reach the arms up. Have your arms as close to the wall as you can. We're exhaling, arms overhead, and then we're inhaling as the arms lower down. So it's a little different than we normally do. So we're exhaling as the arms go out and up. And we're inhaling as the arms go out and down. One more time like that. Exhaling as the arms go out and up. And inhaling as the arms go out and down. Great. All right, step away from the wall and just see if you can maintain this alignment. Because I've noticed my head pitching more and more forward, so I'm working on this. And I think a lot of us are going to benefit from this. All right, let's come and stand at the front of our mats in this nice alignment. Root down through your feet. Take the arms out. Inhale and reach them up. We'll exhale and swan dive now. Folding over the knees, letting the back round. We'll bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Press down through the hands to lift the hips up and back as we breathe in. We'll exhale and lower to straight arm plank. So let's try and hold this position for a little while here. Building strength in the arms, strength through the core. The knees can be down or lifted, but nice long line if you can. Ankles, hips, shoulders, ears, or knees, hips, shoulders, ears. Push the floor away, spread out the weight under your hands, fingers, knuckles, thumbs. If your chin is forward, kind of align your back of your neck, nice and long. Let's take a breath here. And let's exhale back up to down dog. Use your belly to lift up and back. And then inhale again to your straight arm plank. And we'll exhale and lower down. You can drop to knees if you like. Lower your chest into the mat, tops of the feet. Hands maybe slide back a little bit toward the heels. Chin rotates in, back of the neck long. Let's slide the shoulder blades a little bit up towards the ears. Slide the shoulder blades down toward the heels. And then find that sweet spot right in the middle. From right between the shoulder blades, start to lift the chest up. As you lift the chest up, push your heels of your hands back a little bit as you pull your heart forward, coming into your baby cobra. Now, could you lift your hands up and still lift and pull your heart forward? And then release your hands, release your chest. Let's again start from right between the shoulder blades, inhaling up to baby cobra. We could stay here or push down and come up a little bit higher to cobra. And then we'll lower back down. Let's push up to knees, curl the toes under and lift the knees, and lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's look a little forward and walk the feet up toward the hands. We'll end up folded over bent knees or soft knees. And then let's sweep the arms out and inhale and rise up, reaching up. And exhale, arms down at your side. Again, rooting down, inhale, reach out and up. Exhale and swan dive forward. Bring your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Exhale to straight arm plank. From this straight arm plank, nice and long and strong, can we roll to the sides of the feet, press down with the bottom arm, and lift the other arm up. Now, modification here would be to drop on the back knee as we hold here. So one foot in front of the other, pressing down to lift up, maybe lifting that bottom hip just a bit more to activate the sideways. Take a breath. And then exhale back to straight arm plank. Hold here nice and strong. Take a breath in. We're going to go to the other side. So roll to the sides of the feet, push down with the bottom arm, lift the other arm up. Modification, drop onto that bottom knee. Can you lift your bottom hip up a little bit, taking a breath, and then come back to your straight arm plank. Let's take the hips up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out. Exhale to lower to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale to lower all the way into your mat. Find your prone mountain. Inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. Exhale back down. We'll push back up to knees. Curl the toes under and lift the knees to straight arm plank. Take the hips up and back. Breathe in and out. Looking forward, walk your feet up. Plant your feet beneath you. And then we'll sweep the arms out. Inhale and rise up. Exhaling, arms down at your side. Again, rooting down. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale and swan dive forward. Hands to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Exhale, lower to straight arm plank. So we're going to go to side plank again. So option is to drop on the furthest away knee and roll to the side, or roll to the sides of the feet, or maybe you can stack your feet. Try to lift that bottom hip a little more, take a breath, and then come back to straight arm plank. We'll go to the other side. You can drop to a knee and turn the foot back, or just roll to the sides of the feet, or maybe we can stack the feet and lift the arm up. Can you lift that bottom hip a little bit, taking a breath, and then come back to your straight arm plank. Take a breath here, exhale, and lower yourself down. Great. Let's come up onto forearms now. We'll give the wrists a little break. Get your elbows right beneath your shoulders, and then slice down with your forearms, with the sides of your wrists, with the sides of your hands, push down to lift the chest. We're going to curl the toes under, and we're going to lift the hips up. So the knees could be down here in a kneeling forearm plank, or we could lift one knee at a time, or we could lift both knees and hold a full forearm plank. So pushing the floor away, see if you can keep your hips from sinking. And if it bothers your back, maybe lift them a little bit higher. Get that extra support through your core to support your low back. You might be shaking a little bit. That's okay. The breath might be kind of rough, but keep on breathing. And let's hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You're doing great. 2, and nice job. Lower down onto your belly. Take your elbows wide and let your head rest on your hands. Let everything relax. And breathe in and out. All right, hover your head, bring your arms alongside your body. You can have your palms facing the ceiling. Reach back through your toes as you lengthen through your crown. Let's press the front of the hips down and lift the legs up. Reaching back through the fingertips, draw your heart forward and lift your chest up into locust pose. Could you get any longer, toes to crown? Could you press down to lift your legs up a bit more? Could you reach back a bit more and lift the chest a bit more? Take a breath here, long and lifted. Exhale and release. Nice work. Let's bring hands next to chest. And we're just gonna push all the way up and back. Well, let's sit back in child's pose first. Let's release the back a little bit. Sit back into child's pose Fold over, bent knees. Breathe in and out. Check in. And then lift your head up. Let's come up to standing on our knees. And you're welcome to get a little blanket to put under your knees. We are going to put all the weight on one knee. So step one foot out in front. Have this foot in line with that hip. And have your two legs hip distance apart so you're not on a narrow surface. You're wide as your hips. Take that heel maybe slightly either right under the knee or slightly in front of right under the knee. Put a little pressure, a little weight down into this back knee and shin. As you push down with this back knee and shin, maybe with your finger find that hip bone. And as you push down with the knee and shin, can you think about lifting the point of that hip up a little bit? So if the front of the hip lifts up, the tailbone slides down a little bit. Yeah. So we're lifting up here to get a bit more space in the front of the thigh, front of the hip. And then we don't need to go real far with this front knee bending forward to feel a nice stretch here, which is what we're going for. So there's a little pressure in the back knee and shin. This hip bone is lifting up. Let's take that same arm now and reach it up. And as the arm lifts, the rib and shoulder can lift. The knee is pressing down. The hip, the rib, the shoulder is lifting up. Take a big breath here. And then let that arm come down. Push the weight onto the back knee, and we're going to change legs. I'm just going to turn to the other side so it's easier to see. So we're going to step the other foot out in front now. Again, make sure things are hip distance apart. Heel maybe a little forward of the knee. And then this back knee, push down a little bit with the knee and shin. Finger, find your hip bone. Could you lift the hip bone up a little bit? So the hip lifts, the tailbone slides down a little bit. And then with this space here in front of the hip, you don't have to go far bending into this front knee to feel a nice opening, a nice stretch here. And then as you're pressing that knee and shin down, take that same arm and reach it up and breathe here. Great. Let the arm come down, push the weight back, come onto both knees, and let's make our way to downward facing dog. Your way up to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. All right, let's take one leg, let's take the right leg up in the air. Big breath in, as that leg lifts up. Can you keep the knee where it is? Just drop the heel towards your bum. And maybe lift that knee a little higher, breathing in. Let's swing that knee up and in. Lift the knee, lift the heel, look forward. We're gonna step that foot out in front into a lunge. Or you can drop to the back knee to get to this position. So we're in our low lunge here, that the hips can sink down a little bit. Feet are hip distance apart. You can bring one hand on the front knee and then bring another hand on the front knee. So you're in a supported lunge here with your hands on your front knee. Reaching back through the heel as you lengthen through the crown of your head. So now we're supporting ourselves a bit with our hands. Let's try bringing our hands to heart. Supporting this internally here. We'll take a breath, and then we're going to twist to the right in the direction of that knee. And again, we're using the muscles of the trunk to twist around to the right. And then your hands could stay to heart, or the elbow could go to the outside of the knee if you prefer to deepen the twist. Now breathe in and out here. And then unwind yourself back to center. Nice. Take a breath here. Exhale, release your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. We're going to go right to the second side. So grounding through the hands here, take your other leg, your left leg, up in the air. Breathing in. Keep the knee where it is, drop the heel towards your bum. And maybe lift the knee a little higher as you breathe in. Exhale and swing that knee up and in, lift the knee, lift the heel, look forward, step that foot out in front into lunge. Can you drop the hips down into a nice deep low lunge? And then place one hand on the front knee, place the other hand on your front knee. Press back through the heel, long through the crown. Hands could stay where they are, or could we bring hands to heart? Yeah. Take a breath here, nice and long. Exhale and twist to the left in the direction of that leg. Hands could stay to heart, just using your core to twist, or elbow could come to the outside of the knee to try to deepen that twist a little bit more. We'll take a breath in and out here, and then we'll unwind. Back to center. We'll take a breath here. Exhale our hands down to the floor and step back to down dog. Nice. Breathe in and out here. Exhale, lower to straight arm plank. Breathe in and out here. With your exhale, lower all the way down, prone mountain. From prone mountain, let's reach the arms out in front, thumbs to the ceiling, toes reaching back, neck neutral. So chin tucked, back of the neck long. Press the front of the hips down and just lift your right leg up, and then lift your left arm up. Then lower those down. And then press down to lift the left leg and the right arm. And then lower down. So one arm and opposite leg, I'll go up. And as those arm and legs come down, other arm and leg go up and lower down. So opposite arm and leg and down, opposite arm and leg and down. Let's go a little faster. Lift and then other side. One side and then other side. One side and then other side. A little faster. One, the other. One, the other. One, the other. One, and maybe faster. One, another, one, another. Kind of like you're swimming. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Hands next to chest. Push yourself back. Take your hips back, curl your toes under. Come up to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Let's again walk the hands back towards the feet, dropping onto our heels, fold it over. We're going to take a breath in. As we exhale, we'll draw the belly in, begin to roll yourself up. Unfurl your spine, stack yourself up, come up to stand. Nice one. All right, let's turn and face our device, and we'll come into a wide stance. And let's turn the right foot in and turn the left foot out. So have your feet wide enough. You can have your hands on your hips. Wide enough so that as you push this back foot down and bend this front knee, you can feel a little bit of action in this back hip. Maybe you feel a little stretch in the inner line of the leg. You should just feel like a nice distance here. Can you get this knee over this front heel and keep the back heel on the floor? Let's just inhale and straighten, exhale and bend, inhale and straighten, and exhale and bend. All right, keeping this front knee bent now, I want us to lift the heel just a little bit off the floor on that front heel. And as the heel is lifted, can you feel as though you're pulling that heel back toward the midline? So you're working the inner line of that leg and into the pelvic floor. Take a breath and then let that heel lower down. Great. All right, hands on hips. We're going to tip over, and rather than tipping over from the head, draw your awareness down into your belly, and from here, from your pelvis, tip your hips over. Just let your head follow along, and then let your bottom arm rest on your bottom hand. All right, take your other arm and reach it up. Yeah. Can you create space from this bottom shoulder to this top shoulder to this hand as you breathe in? Can you tuck the chin and bring your head back in line with your spine? Imagine that the wall is behind you like we did earlier. Take a breath here, reaching up. And then bring that arm, can you bring the back of your hand onto your low back? And then start to rotate your chest a little more towards the ceiling. We're just rotating the spine, kind of an open twist here. Looking up, breathe in, breathe out here. And then you can kind of unwind that a bit, reach the arm up again, and then reach that arm overhead. As the back foot presses down, reach long through that arm, breathe in. Now sweep that arm down in front as you exhale. Reach it back behind you, inhale and rise up to Proud Warrior. Can you keep the hips where they are, but lengthen up through the spine? Bring your back of your head in line with that imaginary wall behind you. Breathe in and out. And then relax your arms down. Nice. Push this foot down to straighten this front leg. Turn your feet forward. And then let's go to the other side. So left foot turns in, right foot turns out. Hands are on hips. Push this outer edge of the back foot down as you bend your front knee. Find that alignment, that width of stance that feels appropriate for you. Then we'll inhale and straighten the front leg. Exhale and bend the knee. Again, inhale and straighten. And exhale and bend. All right, with this knee bent right over the foot, lift the heel a little bit, not high, and then pull that heel back toward the midline. It's as if you're kind of hugging that heel back in, or as if you could slide it, but you're not going to actually slide it. So it's a lot of work, a lot of action in that leg. Take a breath, and then let the heel go back down. Good. Now bring your awareness down into your belly. From there, tip your hips over, letting this bottom arm rest on this bottom thigh. Take the other arm forward, and then reach it up. Nice and spacious from your bottom shoulder to your top hand. Is your head forward now? Check in. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Pressing the back of the head, chin tuck into that wall. Take a breath here. And then take that arm in the air, bring it around back of the hand on your low back. And then can you rotate the belly and chest more toward the ceiling? Your gaze will follow. So spine is nice and long. You're rotated around. Breathe in and out here. Then begin to unwind. Bring that arm back up toward the ceiling and then bring it overhead. Reach long with that arm as you breathe in. Then sweep that arm down in front as you breathe out. Reach it back behind you. Inhale and rise up tall. Find that nice alignment. Exhale, relax your arms. Push this foot down to straighten that leg. Turn your feet forward. And we're just going to walk our feet back in and together. Great. Let's work on balance just a bit here. We're going to rise up onto the balls of the feet. Heels are lifted. Could you lift up nice and high? And then lower down. Let's do that again. Heel raise, nice and tall. You might get kind of wobbly, and that's kind of good because you're strengthening the muscles in the calves and ankles. And then lower back down. Let's try one more time. Rising up. Now, could you lift one foot? Ooh, this is hard. You might want to hold on to something. And then lower down. And rise up. And then lift the other foot. And then lower down. Let's try that again. Rise up. Lift that first foot. And then lower down. And rise up. Lift your other foot and lower down. If you have weird stuff with the bones of your feet, which a lot of us get as we get older, and that's challenging, just be kind to yourself. All right, we're going to come down all the way to the floor. And we're going to come all the way down to lying on our backs. So just make your way all the way down onto your back. All right, so this next thing, I hope it's going to work with everybody's mats. We'll see. This is a little experimental because you all have different surfaces. Some of you might be on a wood floor. Some of you might be on a really thick carpet. I don't know. And everybody's mats are different. But we'll see if this works. I want you to straighten your legs out so that your heels are still on your mat. And then could you slide your heels in? Like some of you, I think this is probably going to slide your mat in, but ideally your mat stays underneath your heels. And bring your heels in pretty close. So the forefoot is lifted, just your heel is down, and then slide your heels away. So when we used to do this in the fish hatchery, we would put our heels on a blanket and slide it in and out. And if you're on a wood floor, you could do that. You could slide your heels on a blanket or a towel and slide them in and slide away. For me, I'm on a carpeted floor, so the blanket slide doesn't work. But if we slide our heels on our mat, what we just want is a little resistance. Some resistance where we slide the heels in and where we slide the heels away. So if you have a really thick carpet, you might just slide your heels on your carpet. So we're just having a little resistance as the heels slide in and as the heels slide away, so that we're kind of waking up the back of the legs. We're waking up the hamstrings as we slide the heels in and we slide the heels away. Just having heels hip distance, and we're sliding them in with some resistance, either on the floor, on a sliding blanket, or maybe it works on your mat. Just a couple more. Maybe starting to feel the hamstrings firing here. All right. The next time we slide the heels in, I want you to plant your feet, setting up for bridge pose. So you've got your feet hip distance apart, and you should be feeling your hamstrings. So can you use them now as you push down to lift up into your bridge? Use those fired up hamstrings to take your hips up into the air. Those are muscles that are working to lift your hips up. Push your knees and shins forward a bit, and you may feel the hamstrings fire a little bit more. Take a breath at the top, and then try to articulate your spine as you lower down. Just vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. If it bothers your knees as you lower down, you can turn the feet out a little bit. Release your spine slowly, gradually, incrementally, until eventually your sacrum is down and you can just relax in your neutral spine and breathe in and out. Nice job. All right, take your feet off the floor. Reach around and grab your knees and hug them in. Holding your knees, hug your knees in and sway a little bit side to side. Okay, now I want you with your hands to take your knees out wide. And then place your hands on the inside of the knees. So with your hands, I want you to push your knees apart, but with your legs, I want you to press back into your hands. So your hands are pushing your knees apart and your legs are pressing back into your hands. So this is going to make your shoulders work, and it's going to make your inner thighs work, because your inner thighs are pushing your legs in and your arms are pushing your legs apart. And neither one is really working. They're both, or neither one is winning. They're both working, but neither one is going to win this challenge. They're going to work at the same time, pushing in and pushing out. Take a breath. And then ease off of that pushing and pulling. Bring your hands around now to the outsides of your knees. And we're going to do the same idea. You're going to push out with your legs. You're going to push in with your hands. So your hands are trying to push your knees together, but your knees are pushing out against your hands. So your hips are working. Your arms are going to work again. But your knees are pushing out into your hands. And this is going to get the outer hips to work. Pushing the knees apart as your hands are pushing your knees in. Take a breath. In and out. And then you can ease off of that. Bring your knees in. Take your legs up in the air. Reach around and grab the back of your legs. I want you to push your legs into your hands, but with your hands, try and pull your legs in. So same idea. Your legs are pushing away, your hands are pulling in. You're going to feel your hamstrings engage as they try to push your legs away. And your hands are trying to pull in. Take a breath. And then let that relax. Bend your knees now. And with your hands, we're going to push the knees away. And with your legs, you're going to push into your hands. So your hands are pushing your legs away and your legs are pressing back into your hands. It's going to activate your hip flexors and your deep low belly a little bit. pushing, pressing, resisting. Take a breath. And then relax. Let your feet come down. Just give yourself a little break here. Let everything relax. All right, take one leg, let's say the right leg up in the air. Bend the knee, turn it out. We're going to drop that ankle just below the bent knee that's on the floor. We're going to take the bottom leg off the floor to bring the legs up towards you. So this bottom leg is pulling the legs in. Now, I want you to try to pull in with the bottom leg, but with your top leg, push away. So your bottom leg is pulling in and your top leg is pushing away. Neither is going to win, but they're both working really hard. Your bottom leg is trying really hard to pull in. Your top leg is trying really hard to push away. Action and resistance. Take a breath. You can flex your feet here, give a little more stability to the pose. And then release. Put that foot down, put the other foot down. Change legs. Lift your left leg up, drop the ankle below the knee. The bottom leg is going to lift off the floor, pulling the legs towards you. We do this all the time. But now, a little differently, the bottom leg is going to be pulling in and the top leg is going to be pushing it away. And so both are working. Bottom leg is pulling in, top leg is pushing away. A lot of action in the legs. Breathe in and out. You can flex your feet. Nice job. Release the one foot down. Release the other foot down. Good work. Straighten your legs out now. Reach your arms overhead. Take a big, long stretch with a big breath in. Reach, reach, reach. And then relax. Just do one side. Right arm and right leg stretch away from each other with a big breath. And then relax. Do the other side. Left arm and left leg stretch away from each other. Big breath. And then relax. One more time. Both arms, both legs stretch away. Reach, reach, reach. And then relax. All right. Bring your arms up and down. If there's one more movement that you would like to offer yourself, go ahead and do that now. And then we'll begin to set up for our final relaxation. So for our final relaxation, you might want a little something under your head. You might want a little something under your knees. I'm a big fan of a bolster under the knees. So what would allow your body to be able to relax optimally? Set yourself up in that way. Maybe you want a little pillow or a little blanket. Whatever feels good. So your temperature is comfortable, your body is comfortable. So that we can spend these final few minutes of our practice dropping into a very relaxed state. Because this is the definition of wellness or well-being and resilience, our ability to adapt. So when necessary, we can be strong. When necessary, we can be flexible. But when we have the time and the space, we can be relaxed, calm, peaceful, at ease. Our bodies need to come to this relaxed state. And we don't have to be asleep to tap into this state. We can be conscious and awake and yet completely relaxed. So we practice this. Let the body receive the weight of gravity. The floor will support us. We allow the body to relax. All the work, all the instruction, all the need to be a certain way, we let that all go. We let the body find the truth of its natural state. The state of ease and relaxation. Allow it to happen. open up. It's almost like a blossoming. When you see that slow motion image of a flower that begins to slowly, gradually open up to its full magnificence, it's kind of like that. The body goes from its tensed, tight state, and it slowly, gradually unfurls and opens up to that fullness, that state of almost brilliance, the full flowering of our bodies in their relaxed state. Let that happen in your body. That same slow motion, opening up in the muscles in the face. And could you even imagine that same thing happening in your mind? Just letting that mind open up to that fullness of the state of just being open, fully blossomed into this experience of being in the present moment. This precious moment, this present moment is so precious. This is where we live, in the here and now. Each moment a precious gift of life. So you might choose to stay here longer, resting, receiving this gift of relaxation. Or you might choose to begin to come out of this relaxation, maybe a little wiggling of fingers or toes, beginning to open your eyes, maybe bending your knees and bringing your feet to the floor. You might roll to your side and spend a little time there, transitioning in a sort of fetal pose here. And taking your time before you make your way up, sitting. And I do have a little reading to share, if you're so inclined. I might have read this a while back, but I think it's really lovely. It starts with a quote from Rumi that says, "There's a sun in every person, the you we call companion." This is from Mark Nepo's book, Book of Awakening. He says, "It is essential to realize and embrace the paradox that while no one can go through your journey for you, you are not alone. Everyone is on the same journey. Everyone shares the same pains, the same confusions, the same fears, which if put out between us, lose their edges, and so cut us less." A very touching story from the Talmud captures this soft paradox of how we all journey alone together. A rabbi asks his students, "How do you know the first moment of dawn has arrived?" After a great silence, one pipes up, "When you can tell the difference between a sheep and a dog." The rabbi shakes his head no. Another offers, "When you can tell the difference between a fig tree and an olive tree." Again, the rabbi shakes his head no. There are no other answers. The rabbi circles their silence and walks between them and says, "You know the first moment of dawn has arrived when you look into the eyes of another human being and see yourself." So I think with this time of division and challenge, it's important to, recognize that humanity that's in each of us. Good reminder. So I thank you for joining me this morning, and I wish you all a wonderful day. Peace. Namaste.